When you call 911, this is the guy who responds. This is a firefighter. But behind the mask and heavy coat is a neighbor, friend, husband, father, and a small-town guy. Troy Brashears grew up only 3 miles from his current residence in Graham, North Carolina. He and his wife, Sheila, have a 15-month-old son, Wyatt, and a Labrador retriever named Cody. In the spring, when the weather starts to warm up, they spend a lot of time outside and enjoy barbecuing and playing in the backyard. Sheila and Troy met when they were kids. Troy grew up with Sheila's younger brothers and always had a crush on her, and they finally started dating and got married 4 years ago. With the help of Sheila's parents just down the road, Sheila works part-time 3 times a week and spends the rest of her time with Wyatt. Despite his busy schedule, Troy makes sure to find time to play with his son, serving as both a role model and friend. Troy had a very close relationship with his father, who passed a couple years ago, and works hard to carry that over to Wyatt. When dinner time rolls around, Troy keeps Sheila company in the kitchen while Wyatt drains the last of his energy. Soon after, their busy day comes to an end, and Cody waits patiently at the door to be let in. The next day starts bright and early for Troy. He and his crew arrive by 6:45 in the morning to start their 24-hour workday. The Hillsborough Fire Department has a 9-day rotation with 4 24-hour shifts. Troy is a lieutenant in the blue shift and works alongside 3 firefighters, Dane, Bill, and Tyler, and Captain Jeff Holden, also known as Stan. They begin their day in the kitchen and common area, arriving early enough to exchange notes about the previous day with the preceding shift. They catch up with one another and discuss their plans over several cups of coffee. Some days are spent in the classroom to learn the ins and outs of fire safety and prevention. These classes certify the firefighters to instruct the local community and promote awareness. Despite it being a kind of garage, the bay is neatly organized, and enduring this order is very important. Each of the firefighters has their own role in the process and work together to get everything done efficiently. In the mornings, they usually take 1 or 2 trucks out of the bay to thoroughly check and wash. This truck is Station 2's engine that not only carries the fire equipment, but the medical and rescue supplies as well. Each and every air pack must be checked to make sure they have an adequate supply of oxygen. All of the tools and gear are strategically placed so they can be easily accessible in case of an emergency. And testing the equipment on board is a crucial part of their morning rounds. Tyler tests the scene lights to ensure they are all functioning. Maintaining clean trucks is also important for safety and efficiency, and every part of the truck is washed, including the light bar on top. When it comes to washing the trucks, there is a hierarchy within the shift. If Captain Holden is inside, Lieutenant Troy has the right to the water hose, and it's his job to rinse off all the suds. As the process finishes up, Bill and Troy step back while Dane and Tyler dry the truck with a leaf blower. Once their morning tasks are completed, the guys take a quick break to talk about their weekend. 2 to 3 times a month, Sheila and Wyatt go to visit Troy at work. Wyatt loves sitting on his dad's lap almost as much as exploring around the station. Wyatt's curiosity typically leads him to the various gear lying on the floor throughout the bay, and he walks around from one shiny object to another, constantly finding new things to play with. He does his best to utilize anything and everything he can grab within reach, and Troy keeps his eye on Wyatt and scoops him off the ground before he knocks his head on one of the fenders of a truck. Being a member of a small community, the Hillsborough Fire Department spends a lot of time on public relations. They work hard to maintain a good relationship with the town and local residents. The firefighters on duty go to a variety of events to interact with the locals and show their community support. At events like an antique sale in the Daniel Boone Square, the crew will usually bring 2 trucks and extend one of the ladders to help draw a crowd. For lunch, the crew normally grabs something close by and brings it back to the truck. They all find a place to eat, using the truck as a table and enjoying the nice weather. As people come and go from the event, Jeff, Troy, Bill, and Tyler talk amongst each other and show the public that they do more than their tasks at the station. A couple weeks ago, Hillsborough opened up a new department, Station 3. In preparation for the opening, Troy and some of his crew members have been working 5 minutes down the road to help finish it up. Because of his experience at the concrete plant, Troy was responsible for staining the floor in the bay. He is very knowledgeable with construction and brings his own tools to the station to fix any sort of problem. When the contractor put the wrong pipe ballards on the apron, Troy went ahead and cut them down before putting new ones in. Troy, Bill, and Mac worked hard on the landscaping around the perimeter of the station on the hillside, and it took more than a day's work to finish the planning because they took the time to spread the junipers evenly across the hill. The Hillsborough Fire Department receives around 2,000 calls per year. These calls are typically a stove or kitchen fire and can be easily taken care of. But despite their size, several trucks from different stations are fast to arrive at the scene. Somewhere around 7 times a year, Troy works with other firefighters to perform a controlled burn. Earlier this month, Troy was an instructor and worked with crews from the Snow Camp Fire Department to teach them about fire behavior and suppression. The owner of this house needed help getting rid of her old property and contacted the fire department to assist her, and after some paperwork and inspections, the firefighters scheduled a date for the burn. Troy teamed up with his family to supervise the day's events. His cousin, John, who's a firefighter at the Chapel Hill Fire Department, was also an instructor, and John's father, Troy's uncle Gene, who was the lead instructor for the burn, is a captain at the Medben Fire Department. The three of them worked side by side to ensure everything ran smoothly. The firefighters start the burn by building props inside with pallets and hay, and after the fire has started, they practice fire suppression by burning one room at a time. The firefighters take turns inside and circling around the house, monitoring the fire from the windows outside. The cloud of smoke spreads from above the house and shadows the sunlight coming in from the trees. The crew makes sure to grab hold of a hose before walking inside to suppress the fire. As an instructor, Troy spent a lot of time in the house explaining how and when the firefighters should respond to the fire. The heat from the flames quickly radiated throughout the area surrounding the house as the fire grew bigger. When they were working outside of the house, the firefighters typically took off their jackets to cool off, and once the training is over, Troy and his friends sit back to watch the fire take control and burn down the house. In order to prevent the fire from spreading, the firefighters sprayed water around the perimeter of the house. The flames gradually died down as the structure burned to pieces. When the only thing left is a pile of remains and smoke, Troy throws the last of his scraps into the fire to clean the area around the house, leaving less water for the landowner. At the end of the day, Troy risks his life to ensure he will be there for the Hillsborough community when they need it most. He is passionate about his job and is fortunate to have support at both home and the station.